There it is, folks. My new antidepressant for 2024. Back at it again with the Hoka Clifton. Yeah, not a benzodiazepine, not Ativan, although I've taken many of those over the years. Yeah, this is a quick little shout out to Hoka for helping me run. One caveat to this love for Hoka is why the did they make the toe box narrower in the Hoka Clifton 9s? I'm already wearing like a 2E for width too, right? Yeah, that's my gripe. Anyways, why am I bringing up shoes to greet you with this video? A, I love shoes. B, running is a savior when it comes to someone like me who has panic disorder. I don't have the wisdom or the patience or the insight or the gifting of grace within myself to be able to be like the watcher, for those people who practice meditation, a lot of Buddhist wisdom and philosophies with the idea of watching, right? Whether you have like panic disorder or social anxiety and you're trying to face, that big boss of self, like why am I feeling anxious? Why am I feeling this social anxiety? And pause, reflect, go within. For me, like when I'm feeling panicky, one of the biggest indicators, I get tightness in my solar plexus and my breathing comes off and it starts getting shallower, right? My world starts getting smaller. If anybody knows who's had panic attacks, is like your physiology starts going in, right? Because it's that idea of your brain thinking, oh, attack mode, I need to protect, survival. And that's totally what happens to me. And it's irrational, it makes no sense, your frontal lobe shutting down. But, for somebody who's in recovery, I can't use alcohol, I can't use drugs. Sometimes I can't sleep, 9-10 hours. Sometimes I drink too much coffee. Sometimes life throws me a bunch of stress that I'm not even aware of, right? And I don't have that time of hours in practice to rewire my brain and understand like the neural pathways that have wired over the years for my panic disorder. I go for a fucking run. And I'm slow, guys. Like I'm slow, and I only put like 500-600 kilometers on a shoe every year, and like I'm just starting back into it like I do every year, pretending to be a runner out of like the dark pain cave of seasonal affected depression. But I'm back, baby. I did my first 10K of the year this week, and it was a great reminder of the stillness that comes as a result of me running. Here's how it works for me, right? Like, oh my God, panicking, right? I'll have too much caffeine that day. Oh my God, I feel a panic attack coming. Oh, I don't want to leave. I'm feeling like, right? And I'm like, fuck this. I know what I can do. Rip to the gym, treadmill. First, like half hour, right? Like, I'm like still kind of hyped, panicky. And then it starts dissolving, right? And then what happens is I transition. And I'm transitioning to this place of like, oh, I don't want to run anymore. My head's like, no, start spazzing out about, oh, this hurts, that hurts. You need to get off the treadmill, you need to stop running. No, we're not playing that game. Like the spastic mind that got me to a place of panicking and needing the resolve of running is now going to finish the job. Whether it's, aiming to go 5K or aiming to get to an hour running or aiming to 10K. It's like, no, we're trying to shape ourselves to be different, right? And for me, that looks like being more in harmony with the world. And running has been like a great outlet for me in recovery and somebody who has panic disorder, right? Like an agoraphobia, you name it, right? Like I've struggled with mental health for the majority of my life. And it's incredible how much more space I have internally. Usually my mind's so reactive and impulsive, and like when breathing exercises, meditation, you're Wim Hof breathing, whatever it is, your high doses of magnesium citrate, and like 9-10 hour sleep doesn't work. The other healthy tool, after, of course, like I talked to a mentor, a sponsor, prayed, blah blah blah, try to be of help to other people. This is like I can fall back on. Yeah, sure, running from my fears, sure, but I'm also running, and my body's getting benefits. I'm getting endorphins, and another benefit I've noticed, which may be TMI, but somebody who's on antidepressants or any anxiety medication, often it can mess up your guts and slow down your digestive issues. Slow down your digestion, which can give you issues. And I find that when I'm doing like a half hour to an hour run, like, I don't know, 3-4 times a week, I find like I'm less bloated. I find that I'm more regular. I find that like I have less of like that bulky gut, which comes as from like holding more retention of water and fecal matter. And I like that feeling of not being bloated. And I like that feeling of having a little bit more space in between my thoughts where I don't have to be so reactive. And my negative behaviors following that, like I don't enjoy that. I think people around me probably don't enjoy that. They probably enjoy a version of kale which is more tranquil. So today I thought I'd just shoot a video out of the benefits. I like being pragmatic, and someone in recovery may do all the steps, may go to hundreds of meetings, may do everything that's asked of them. And unfortunately, the outside issue of their anxiety or depression or panic is still there. And that's been my experience, unfortunately, over the years of being in recovery, is that hasn't been lifted from me yet. But like other disciplines and solutions do reveal themselves if I choose to pick them up and like get my ass to the treadmill or get my ass to the gym, or for those people who don't have snow on the ground still in March, it's like minus 16 out right now. I don't want to go for a run in minus 16. You just go outside, but like the wildness of panic disorder is this, like when you have panic disorder and when you have agoraphobia, you don't even want to run outside. Why? Because it creates more like stimulus. When you're feeling agoraphobic, you're away from like your controlled safety environments. So it's like this whole bizarre control aspect which has caused me to be at a place where I find myself on the treadmill more, right? All geared up with my Apple Watch, so I got my heart rate, right? I got my pace, I've got my distance. It's everything, all the micro details I can tune in, right? It's when I'm feeling panicky, it's less variables for me to consider, and that makes a big difference, and we got to start somewhere and allow for grace and not to shame ourselves when we feel like a loser for having to do these things, right? I've just had to be honest with myself, like if I'm going to be running, if I'm going to be utilizing cardiovascular activity to help mitigate and settle myself as much as I can, to allow me to just get through the day, it's cool. Like it's all good. Like if you're at a place where you are starting out running and like you can only run around the block because you're feeling that much anxiety and panic, like I've been there. I remember when I first started to get panic attacks, I didn't want to drive like a kilometer away because I was so terrified of the panic, right? And then I remember I didn't want to drive anywhere within proximity that was outside proximity to like a clinic or a hospital, right? Because in my head it registered as I was having some sort of heart issue, or I was having like a brain bleed, right? It's just like so irrational, but your body is in like defense mechanism mode, right? And you're so convinced that you're in need of a doctor that like you plan a route of driving so that you can always be in proximity of help. And that stuck with me for like a couple years, and I was embarrassed to even talk about it before, right? And so it's amazing how destructive and anxiety disorders and people suffering from mental health issues can be. So if there's anything that I find, like I want to be open and vulnerable with you guys about it. And ugly ass Hoka shoes, specifically the Clifton model, have been really helpful for me. It allows me to run for longer periods of time without getting like knee pains or like bleeding toes. I used to love Nike Pegasus, and then I switched over, and I didn't really switch back. Yeah, I don't know. Just feeling like a certain encouraging spirit for people who are suffering today. And I wanted to let you know you're loved. And you got to start somewhere. And by starting somewhere, you can eventually be an incredibly mediocre runner like me one day. Like I haven't even done like a half marathon. The most I've done is like a 10K run. And I'm going to be 40 on Friday. So like, you can just start at any age. There's no barriers to entry. And you get to push yourself. And I like to use like an Apple Watch so I can monitor my heart rate. And you get to sort of play around with heart rate variability and max heart rates. And I don't know, it's another hobby that's healthy that also helps with anxiety. I don't know. No remedies, guys. No perfect pill. So let you know I care. You're loved. And for those who are in recovery, get to a fucking meeting and help somebody else. That's my rant. Yeah, most importantly, you're loved.